up, a cinema shogun here, and I can't help but feel like people are already starting to lose focus in the Rudy Farias case. The number one focus should be making sure that Rudy is safe and that Rudy gets the help that he needs, because he needs help. And the number two focus should be making sure that Rudy's mother is held accountable for all of the evil things that she has done over the years. By now, I'm sure most of you all saw the press conference from yesterday. If you haven't already, you could go check it out. I posted it on my channel this morning. As you all know, I've said it countless times by now, but I 100% believe everything that Quanell is saying. I 100% believe that Rudy told Quanell all of the things that Quanell claims Rudy told him. However, I don't want this story to turn into something that becomes about a personal vendetta between Quanell and the Houston Police Department. I want the focus to be on Rudy. I don't want this to turn into something else, where now it's really a battle between Quanell and the police department and everyone forgets about Rudy, what brought us here in the first place. I also don't want this to become about a personal vendetta between Rudy's aunts and Rudy's mother. I do think that there's a conversation to be had about how Rudy's mother handled her mother, Rudy's grandma. I understand there's a beef there and that allegedly Rudy's mother really mistreated Rudy's grandma and that the aunt and the family are upset about that. There's definitely a conversation to be had there. But that conversation is in many ways a separate conversation from the one that we're having right now. We need to make sure that the focus is on Rudy, because Rudy is still alive and Rudy is in much need of help. The press conference, there was a lot of theatrics there. You got someone with a Thor hammer. You got people walking around with berets on like they're in the military. You got people masked up. You got the bulletproof vest on. You got the Black Panthers showing up at Rudy's doorstep. And I'm kind of torn on all of it. On one hand, we have Rudy's mother that has Rudy scared. She's intimidated Rudy and scared Rudy for years. And I think it's nice that she gets a taste of her own medicine. I think it's nice that, there's a show of force to show that, hey, you maybe could scare Rudy and do what you did to Rudy, but you're not going to scare any of us. So I respect that from that aspect. But at the same time, I don't want this turning into a complete circus. I don't want this turning into a spectacle where it becomes about all of the craziness surrounding the case and less about making sure that Rudy is okay. Also, I don't want anyone else getting hurt. I don't want anything crazy happening. When you have people showing up at Rudy's mama's house, doing press conferences outside, basically challenging her to come outside and to get into a pew pew fight with you and your friends, that's not good, okay? I mean, it's funny and it's entertaining to watch, and I'm sure it gets a lot of people riled up like, yeah. But at the same time, you have to really step back as an adult and realize the severity of this situation and realize the fact that everyone that was standing outside of Rudy's mom's house yesterday during that press conference, they were putting their life at risk. Because we have a completely insane, utterly crazy psychopath of a woman who is armed and dangerous that was supposedly inside that house. And all it takes is a pull of a trigger. All it takes is a millisecond for someone's life to be gone, someone's life to be changed, for someone to get hurt. So I don't think that we necessarily need, to push, this lady into doing something crazy. I'm not saying that we need to handle it with kid gloves, You already know the type of person I am, but at the same time, I don't want anything drastic happening here. And like I said, the number one focus should be on making sure that Rudy is safe. And I'm going to tell you right now, Rudy isn't safe. I don't care what you hear from this person, or that person. I don't care what you hear from various news outlets. The fact is that at the time of this recording, things change, but at the time of this recording, Rudy is with one of Rudy's mom's friends. Rudy's not with one of the family members that you see in the press conferences. Rudy's not with a friend of Rudy's. Rudy is with his mother's friend. Now, you tell me what you think about that. Because I'm afraid for Rudy's life. I don't trust Rudy's mother's friend. Have you ever heard the saying, you are the company you keep? Well, who in their right mind would keep Rudy's mom as company? If you would befriend Rudy's mom, then what type of person are you? What does that really say about you? Mind you, there are people out there, I don't know if the claims are true or not, but they're claiming that this friend of Rudy's mom is one of the people that helps supply Rudy's mom with some of the substances that she takes and that she gives Rudy. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know this woman or this person that Rudy is with. Maybe they're a good person deep down. I don't know. I don't want to just bash the person, but at the same time, if you're a friend of Rudy's mom, I can't trust you. And that just makes you easy to access. You know, Rudy is very easy to access for Rudy's mom. Like, I don't think it would take much. So that's a scary situation. We have to understand that Rudy isn't safe yet. And it's my opinion is that if Rudy is allowed to be unmonitored around his mom, I think she may do something drastic. I think she may take Rudy out, if you will. Maybe take herself out as well. I don't want Rudy around this woman. And I don't want us to be focused on all of this other stuff that really doesn't matter right now when we should be focused on Rudy. Because right now everyone's scrambling around. It seems like this story has turned into a story about Quanell and not a story about Rudy. Now everyone's, well, what about Quanell? What did he do this? Quanell did this in 2011. Well, let's research what Quanell did here and then here and then here. And listen, I'm not saying that those aren't conversations that could be had, but at the same time, we're not here to investigate Quanell. We're not here to worry about Quanell's past. I'm here to investigate Rudy's mom and worry about Rudy's mom's past. But the focus has shifted. But anyways, I want you all to watch this news clip really quick so you could hear from a friend of the family. Before you watch this clip, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way into helping this channel. We're trying to get to 100K and I think we could do it soon. But I need your help. You enjoy watching these videos. These videos are totally free. All you gotta do is hit the thumbs up button and drop a comment, and it helps my channel a whole lot. But anyways, let's watch this clip, and then you already know I'm going to be back with more thoughts because I have a lot to say about this situation.
Did Rudy seem developmentally normal to you?
Yes, he did. I mean, he was just very timid, very sheltered.
But it seemed like he could think, he could process, and emotionally he was able to control himself?
At times, yes. Or I should say most of the time. Now, when Charles did die in that motorcycle accident, Janie picked him up from wherever he was and took him to the scene of the accident so he could see his brother. A 14-year-old
yeah, I'm sure that was,
going to an accident.
Yeah, I'm sure that was very traumatizing. So then he goes missing. You get concerned because you don't hear from him, and you reach out to authorities. What did you say to them, and what was the response?
Well, I had to talk to one of the investigators private investigators. And she said, Jackie, you really need to call them and give them, what you know. And I'm like, okay. So I called. And the detectives, I guess, were not there at the time. So a front desk guy took my information, and I kind of told him what it was. He says, okay. He says, well, I will give this as soon as the detectives get back in. I will give this to them, and they will be contacting you. It's been a long time, and they still haven't contacted me.
Jackie, I really appreciate you helping us understand this situation. It just stinks 6 ways from Sunday. We're going to stay on it to understand what happened.
Correct. Please do. And please pray for Rudy.
Yeah, and hopefully you're able to help him like you have all along. It sounds like he's definitely going to need it if anything that he's saying is true. Be well and be in touch if we can help. You know how to get us.
Thank you, sir.
So there is just a lot of confusion surrounding this case, and everyone is just trying to figure out what is really going on here. And I don't blame them. For one, if you were not looking into this story early on, and you didn't follow all of the rabbit holes, you're going to be lost. You're going to be completely lost because there's so much stuff to unpack within this story that it is completely overwhelming. But everything that I've seen makes me fully believe that Rudy's mother is capable of anything. And I see a lot of people asking, well, why are there no charges yet? Why isn't Rudy talking about what happened to him? And, your guess is as good as mine, but we've already gone over some of the reasons why law enforcement maybe hasn't said anything yet. There are valid reasons as to why law enforcement won't necessarily say certain things during press conferences. And as far as Rudy goes, you really have to understand the level of psychological torture and torment that this young man must have went through for years. Everyone's focusing on what happened with Rudy over the 8 years that he was supposedly missing. But what you need to understand is that all of this wild, wicked stuff that Rudy's mother was supposedly doing to him, do you think that it just started when Rudy was 17? Do you think that she made this story about Rudy going missing and then she started doing all of this weird stuff with Rudy? No. I can guarantee you that this is something that Rudy has dealt with probably for most of his life. When Rudy went missing, Rudy actually ran away to try to get away from his mom. He came back like a day later, and then his mom crafted this story and manipulated him for 8 years ever since then. And from what I'm hearing mixed things about Rudy. I'm hearing that maybe he's kind of like special needs, if you will. So I don't know if his mind functions the way, our minds maybe do. So he's probably easier to manipulate, probably easier to control, things of that nature. But what people have to understand here is this. Rudy is an adult. In my opinion, when you have a situation like this, I think that we should still look at these people as minors in a way. People who've been psychologically tortured and tormented over their childhood. I don't think we could look at him like a normal 25-year-old man. You know what I mean? Because in many ways, it kind of stunts your growth emotionally, mentally, when you're dealing with someone like Rudy's mom. But at the end of the day, Rudy's 25 years old. So what it's going to take here is Rudy's going to have to come forward, more than likely, elaborate. He's going to have to elaborate. He's going to have to explain in detail the things that his mother did to him and when these things occurred. And he can't explain it to Quanell. He's going to have to explain it to law enforcement. If he doesn't, then there's a big chance that Rudy's mom walks away free with nothing happening to her. But Rudy's going to need time to come around. People are asking, well, why isn't Rudy saying anything? Why didn't Rudy do this? Why didn't Rudy do that? Rudy is supposedly a special needs kid someone that's dealing with something mentally, I guess, who has been fed psychedelics, locked in a room, has been convinced that he's going to go to jail if anyone knows who he is or finds out that he's home, has been made to pretend to be his mother's husband, has been, Lord knows what she's done to this boy. He has to wash her in the bathtub. Weird, sick stuff. That is a level of psychological and mental control that that woman has over Rudy. And I understand that for you, someone who's never experienced that, it's hard to understand. I've never experienced anything like this. And while I can't say that I fully understand what Rudy's going through, I do understand why it's hard for Rudy right now to necessarily tell his story. And I understand why Rudy doesn't want his mom in jail. I think his mom should be in jail. I think that Rudy should think that his mom should be in jail. But you got to give Rudy time. 8 long years, and in reality, 25 long years of dealing with someone like Rudy's mom. This kid is messed up. He's not going to break away from these chains and shackles overnight. It's not something that's going to happen in a few days, maybe not in a week, maybe not in a month. It's going to be on his own time. So I think that's something that people really need to understand here. I think people need to have patience, and people just have to realize that, you know, everyone's different. And when dealing with crazy situations like the one that we're talking about right now, you can't ever really expect someone to act or react in the way that you want them to. It's easy to sit here and say, and it would be easy for me to say that, yeah, Rudy should have said something, Rudy should have did this, and Rudy should have did that. That's really easy to say for me. But I didn't go through 25 years of what Rudy went through. I didn't have to give my psycho mom baths. You know what I mean? Like, for the love of God, give this kid some time. Patience. Understanding. And with that understanding, also understand that the day may never come where Rudy's ready to talk. The day may never come where Rudy wants his mom in jail. And that sucks, but that's the reality. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll be talking to you all in the next video.